weekend edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Glad you're able to join us this evening. Pardon the audio. It's going to be a little rough on the audio for the next couple of days as I'm traveling, and I do not have a traveling mic system with me, so we're going to have to make do with the best that we can. So I apologize upfront for the audio for the next couple of days, but let's go ahead and dive right in. Friday was our first big day that we'd had in a while, and we got our runner as we had talked about a potential opportunity to get long if it broke above 2660, and now we're sitting up here at 2671. So it's moved up fairly nicely after on Friday morning's run. It's kind of continued that. We've actually got a new higher swing high as well as a higher swing low on our hourly chart, which is pretty compelling. It's good to see we finally were able to put in some higher swing highs and higher swing lows on the hourly chart. That's really the first higher swing high, truly higher swing high we've had since back in this range here. And that momentum died off fairly quickly before a pretty strong sell-off. So let's see where it goes from here. Now, I do have a 15-minute level up above us that we're kind of coming into slowly. And this is a little bit of sideways price action before a strong drop after a pivot high. So typically when you get these strong drops after the pivot high, you will sometimes have a good reversal point. Now my fear on this is we're getting a really weak arrival into it, but not so weak that I'm willing to take it completely off the table yet. We're definitely weakening momentum than from what we had early Friday morning. So we'll keep that in play. As far as our Nasdaq level, we had a little Nasdaq reversal level in here, and that price just obviously blew right through. So once again, we'll take small losses in this one if we got the long that's still running in the S&P, and that's kind of what happened here. Now this level matches up with our 15-minute level that we have. So let's see if we get a little reversal there. Now if you do, you're really looking for about a 1-to-1 reward to risk trade. So this one may or may not meet your risk parameters because I've got a fair price value area right here. That is the opposing opportunity. Looking next at crude oil. Crude oil is, we had a dashed line trade in here. Price came into the level and then did come out and got to its opposing zone before then popping back up. So you may have taken a quick profit on this because I think I mentioned on the recording Friday morning that this is really pretty weak getting into the level, and so if you do get into this, you're going to want to take profits right away. And that's kind of the only little move we got out of there. Not a whole lot of movement came out of that trade before it's now popped up a bit higher. I said a long time ago that I thought oil could go to 80, and that's really looks like what we're marching towards is $80 on the oil. Gold. So gold, we are still in between some areas in gold. We've got a little level right here that has been intriguing me for a couple of days, and I'm going to put a line on this one. It's a really small area, right? Really small level. So you've got to really, kind of hit this one and hope that it lands right on it. But when you're picking this small of a level, it's a tiny little loss if you're indeed wrong. But if you get a little reversal down to about this range, it's a really good reward to risk scenario on something like this. Looking at our bond markets, so on our bonds, we have a little bit of a bounce off of our breakout low area. Price has not come back to this area since, so we're going to let this one be. Nothing really to change on our bonds or our currency markets, frankly. Nothing has really been adjusted from our Friday morning video. Nothing really to change on any of our currency markets here. The Aussie, we still have a level up above. There is, this upward trend, which is fairly weak. There's not a lot of strength to this upward trend, and a lot of people would actually call this this trend channel's a little bit. Let me connect these a bit better. There we go. You see how it's kind of widening out a little bit as we go further along. I would say that this is now officially a sideways market with a lower swing low and a lower swing high right here. So I think that we've kind of gone sideways in this and in the euro. So we're waiting for the dollar to break out before we get any good moves in our currencies. Great British Pound, we still have a reversal up here, but Great British Pound has gone sideways, as well as the Japanese yen. So not a whole lot to cover in regards to currencies. Right now, we're just continuing our march higher in the S&P and the Nasdaq, as well as in oil. So looking at these, let me go to a bigger picture time period. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. We're still not anywhere near our highs on the 4-hour chart. We've really got to get above 27.25 before we would really change our bias on the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, I've got a slightly higher high right here, but I don't have a higher low yet. And so my 4-hour chart, my downward trend has weakened, but it's not officially over. On the daily chart, there's a really strong opportunity to say that we are in a pretty big pinching effect right in between this range here. So keep these areas in mind. These are a little bit bigger picture, but it's always good to look at that bigger picture and see where we are. I'm not going to make a prognostication of big move one way or the other, and I don't want to let myself get too emotionally attached to one direction, right? I'm just going to follow my plan and have my stops in place, allow my winners to run and cut my losers off whenever I can, and that's really the secret to any sort of trading. So that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. If we have any major changes, I will put a recording out tomorrow. I'm actually on the West Coast, so I may get the recording out a bit later. I typically put it out around 5:30. About 5:30 in the morning Central Time, but I don't really feel like getting up at 3:30 in the morning Central Time or Pacific Time, so I'll probably have it out a bit later tomorrow if indeed there's enough changes to make it worth doing a video. So thanks so much, everybody. If you got any questions, please feel free to send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com. Until tomorrow, I will see you later.